As a huge Harry Potter fan, I've been really excited about this upcoming faithful adaptation of Harry Potter. I remember standing in line at the supermarket for the books when they came out and then just hibernating with each new book, and it took me like a week to get through because they were like that big. But this has just been something I was really looking forward to because there's so much that the movies couldn't include, like Peeves, Tom Riddle and his upbringing and the flashbacks of him, the Marauders. I really wanted them to go into those areas and expand upon the universe. And then we had the casting of Snape, which changed everything because suddenly that promise that we'd been made that they're going to be faithful has just gone out the window. I just want to see a faithful adaptation, and that is not just about race. We'll go into the other things later. But I have a lot of problems here with the way they look that have nothing to do with race. So when it comes to Snape though, he is very clearly described in the books. Adam Driver, I know everybody says it, but he's like the Star Wars version of Snape in more than just the way he looks. You know, he wears the long, dark, flowing robes. He can get into people's minds. He has a tragic backstory. There's so many things that you look at him and you're like, was Kylo Ren inspired by Snape? So it would be like this full circle moment to have him then play Snape. And yes, he's an American. I would like an all British cast, but that is one thing I'm willing to compromise on. If they can do a British accent well, and John Lithgow, I'll always know him as the guy off Third Rock from the Sun, but he can definitely pull off that British accent, so I'm fine with him playing Dumbledore. Anyway, so Adam Driver, Adrian Brody would be great. Tom Hiddleston would be amazing. Like if you've seen him as Loki, you can definitely see that visually looks like Snape. And Benedict Cumberbatch, I've seen a lot of people say he would be a good choice as well. Yeah, I could sort of see that. So yeah, I have a problem with him. They've race swapped Hermione. She was clearly described, let's be honest, if you've read the books, it's very clear she was described as coming back being very brown after a holiday. You know, that just doesn't happen unless you're a white girl, let's be honest. So they did that with her, but I don't really care about that because it just doesn't really stand out in the way Snape does. Ron, yeah, he's fine. I just hope they don't with Hermione make her too pretty because this is a pretty girl, and I feel like that's one thing they got wrong with the movies as well. She was very pretty, and you know, Hermione is meant to have the big teeth, the big hair, and they can fix that obviously with fake teeth, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what they do with that. Yes, she is described as having sort of a ugly duckling to beautiful swan transformation, but it doesn't start as quickly as the movies sort of made it out to start. Like, anyway, we'll just have to wait and see with that. And the Harry Potter kid, Dominic, I forget his name, he doesn't have black hair or green eyes, but I can see why they wouldn't like cast somebody who naturally has those physical characteristics because they're very hard to come by. And they are things that can be easily changed with some hair dye and green contact lenses, because Daniel Radcliffe, he couldn't wear the contact lenses in the movies because they bugged his eyes. So yeah, if they fix that up, give Hermione's actress some frizzier hair and some fake teeth, yeah, that would be good. Because like I said, it's not just about the skin color. I just want all around them to look the way they're meant to in the books. So far, that's pretty much what stood out to me when it's come to the casting announcements. So now we've got some more confirmed announcements, so I'm going to go into that. And then later on talk about who I'd like to see play Voldemort and Sirius Black. But firstly, Belle Powley is going to be Petunia Dursley. So I feel like she is a much more age-appropriate Petunia, because we have to remember that all of the actors and actresses basically in the Harry Potter movies were way too old. But she's way too pretty. So the older lady who played her in the movies had like that, I don't want to be mean to be an actress, but yeah, she had that horse face that Petunia is meant to have, but this one is too pretty. So I don't know. I feel like there's certain things you can change with makeup, but making such a pretty woman into one who's meant to look like Petunia, yeah, that feels like a stretch. So I'm going to say I'm also not happy with this casting, and I'm not too happy with Vernon Dursley either. So Daniel Rigby is going to be playing Vernon Dursley, whose main characteristic that is brought up time and time and time again is he is a very large man. He's a sizable man, and that is his main feature. And Daniel Rigby is quite a slim, good-looking man, and I just don't see Vernon Dursley when I look at him. It feels like they could put a fat suit on him, I guess, but I don't feel like they're going to do that. So, yeah, the Dursleys are going to be young and attractive, and that is confusing. So, no word yet on Dudley Dursley and his casting, so we'll just have to wait and see. We have Johnny Flynn as Lucius Malfoy. So this looks pretty spot on. Dye his hair white blonde or put him in a wig, and yeah, I could definitely see him playing Lucius. I haven't seen him acting in anything before, so let me know down below if you have what you think of his performance. Is he a good actor? But based on all I can judge by at the moment, which is the way he looks physically, yeah, I think he looks good. And he looks like he could play that menacing sort of character well, like he has a sinister side to his personality. We have Lox Pratt as Draco Malfoy. Lox Pratt is not someone I've heard of before. He's obviously a very young actor, so physically blonde hair, blue eyes, he looks the part. Hopefully he can act because he needs to be able to pull off that really snotty attitude. Tom Felton did such a great job as Draco because he really pulled off the attitude. And in real life, he's such a nice guy. And I love how he's so enthusiastic all these years later about Harry Potter still. So, yeah, I think so far, I think they look really good. I would say when it comes to Narcissa Malfoy, I didn't like the actress in the movies. She was too old. Nothing against the actress. I'm sure in real life she's beautiful, but that Cruella de Vil type two-toned hair did not work for her. I feel like Natalie Dormer, from her Game of Thrones years, would have been a great Narcissa, but we'll just have to wait and see. So we have Catherine Parkinson as Molly Weasley. She's younger than the other Molly actress looked and very pretty, so that's a bit different. Once again, not trying to be mean to the actress that played Molly in the movies, but here it's just a completely different vibe, and it is going to take some getting used to. So that's passable to me. She has the red hair at least. So yeah, some good, some not so good, but I'll definitely be interested to see Narcissa and how she looks. Hopefully the other Weasley twins, not twins, siblings, like Charlie, we don't really hear a lot about him in the movies. Like, he's not in the movies. No, we don't actually see Charlie. Bill, we do a little bit, but it'll be nice to have their characters expanded upon. So when it comes to Voldemort, I feel like Jamie Campbell Bower, who plays Vecna in the Stranger Things TV show, he would be a great Voldemort because he has this really unsettling vibe to him. Just the quality of his acting is always really good, and I could definitely see him pulling off another villain. He does play a young Gellert Grindelwald in the Harry Potter movies, but he's in it for like 2 seconds, so yeah, I don't feel like there'd be any weird feelings from that. Cillian Murphy, I feel like, would be another good choice. He's got that same quality to him where he can be very cold and unsettling and sinister. I just rewatched one of my favourite movies with him in it, Red Eye. Such a good movie, so underrated. And he's just got the most intense gaze. I could really see him playing a younger, well, not younger, he's pretty age appropriate, I guess, to what Voldemort is meant to look like as he's older. And he has the blue eyes and the black hair, pale skin that Voldemort is meant to have. So, or an English actor who is actually named Tom Hughes, I feel like would be a great Tom Riddle as well. Sirius Black, I know this is such a typical fan cast, but Ben Barnes, yes, he is a little older than he's meant to be, but I'm so attached to him as Sirius Black in my mind. Gary Oldman, great actor, but definitely didn't look the way Sirius was meant to. Ben Barnes, him and Adam Driver are just who I picture in my head now when I read the books, because I don't know, I just can't help it. Like, obviously the original Snape will always be Snape, even though he was meant to be a lot younger. Alan Rickman, he was fantastic, but still he was a lot older than Snape was meant to be. So yeah, I feel like those would be my dream casting choices. We'll just have to wait and see. Sirius doesn't get introduced to a book free, so I don't think they'll cast him yet. It's a little too early, but when it comes to the others, Hagrid and Filch, I have no problems there. Let me know your casting choices down below. What you agree with, what you don't agree with. I'd really like to know your opinions on it. So please feel free to subscribe, like, comment, all of that YouTube stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.